way too tall for this microphone. Let's see. There we go. Well done. Hello, my name is Leo, and I want to tell you a story about a story. That's right, like another famous Leo, I am going a few layers deep with this one. Leo DiCaprio, Inception. This is what I get for getting a film degree, because I'm sure not getting any money for it. But I like being a filmmaker. I've been in Chicago for a few months. I've been working on film projects and with some good people, good projects. When I moved here, I actually realized my apartment is right down from the old Music Box Theater. And in related news, I've spent all my money on movies. Is there a support group for this? But I've been making movies since I was a little kid with a camcorder, making movies with my sister in the living room. I went to Purdue University for film production, and I really enjoyed studying film. I got the chance to see a lot of stories on film. I got the chance to help my friends tell their stories on film, and I got to tell a few stories of my own. I always really love stories, in case you can't tell. Books, movies, TV, comics, theater, video games. I grew up with all of them, and I could never pick one as my favorite. They all affected me in different ways, and different ones stuck with me in different ways. Turtles All the Way Down, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, Sense8, Fun Home, Beginner's Guide. I didn't realize this when I was growing up, but like a lot of people, I kind of use stories to understand myself and the world. I think when I was growing up, the first label I used for my identity was Ravenclaw. That's my turf classification. In middle school, I wanted to be like Doctor Who. That was some kind of sign. No. In college, I decided to make a documentary about the campus LGBTQ center because I just wanted to be a really good ally. Yeah, okay, Leo. In senior year, when I finally came out as bisexual, I did it by telling a story on a stage in front of all my friends and family at my senior film presentation, because I am a master of subtlety. It was a great time. I was graduating college, I was newly out, and I was ready to get out there and explore. And I'm not even talking about boys. Well, I'm not just talking about boys. I was excited to finally move out of Indiana to a big city with a bigger creative industry. I was going to learn more about myself and how I fit into the world when I graduated college in early 2020. Yeah, right into the pandemic. I had to move back in with my parents. I had to get a soul-crushing office job, 9 to 5, to make money. It was a bad time. I won't go too deep into it because I'm sure every person here knows what it was like, and also because I do not want to. But suffice it to say, it got dark. And in that dark time, I started writing a short story. It was the first short story I had ever tried to write. I'd written a few scripts, but never something like this. You know how they say, write what you know? Well, what they don't always say is that what you know is going to come out in your writing, whether you want it there or not. So I started writing a story about a lonely guy moving to the big city who hated his job and was questioning his sexuality. But this one was set in the 1920s, so it's not me. No. Completely different. And in this story, the guy meets a mysterious, charming man who he slowly realizes does not just want to be friends. So not too desperate on my part. Isolation got me writing funny. Anyway, I wrote on this story slowly, between working and looking like I was working. And eventually, we got vaccines, the world started to reopen, and I was able to move to Chicago. But I chose to move in November, right when it was getting cold, and everyone was going inside, and COVID numbers were picking up again, so there weren't a lot of people meeting in person. I had to work a lot, and I didn't have a lot of money to go out and meet people. To be honest, the city I found was a bit of a cold, lonely place. And suddenly the setting of my story changed from summer to winter. And the main character spent a lot more time in his room. and he didn't meet anyone so fast. This went on for a few months. I was working, I was meeting people sometimes, I was doing everything I wanted to, but I still felt frozen, like I was a traveler and I might have to pick up and move anytime. And I had even stopped writing so much. But then, I was looking up some events near me, and I decided to come to this storytelling thing at this place called, they call it OUTspoken, this place called Sidetrack. Not heard of it? It was okay. What if I just walked upstage? No, really, I came alone, and I heard a bunch of stories, folks telling their story of coming out, or about people they love, or about things that had happened to them. And some of them reminded me of my own life. Others just made me laugh. This stage is still where I heard the best colonoscopy story I think I will ever hear. And when I got home, I set a calendar reminder for every first Tuesday of the month from now until 2300. So I should probably do it. And suddenly, in my story, I was writing about the main character stumbling upon a secret speakeasy where people laughed, told jokes, and did drag and danced the night away. Yes, there were drag queens in the 1920s. Look it up. But more importantly, I was writing about my character meeting people who understood it, finding a community. That's right, I still hadn't finished my short story. I had been writing and writing on it, and by now it wasn't so short anymore. It was actually too long to be a short story. It was a novelette, which is not a word I knew until I Googled how long can a short story be? But I still hadn't given it an ending. I realized I think I was putting it off because I knew my time here would be coming to an end soon. See, writing wasn't the only thing I did to distract myself during COVID. I had grown up in Indiana, gone to school in Indiana, and never traveled outside the hemisphere. And when lockdown hit, and I was stuck at home, I got online and I applied for a working visa for Ireland. I might have panicked a little bit, but the office was closed when I sent in my application in 2020. So I figured I have no idea when they'll reopen. I'll just send this out and get on with my life in the meantime and see when it comes through. And then the week after I moved to Chicago, I got an email from the Irish consulate saying, "You can go anytime now," right after I signed the apartment lease. So I decided to give myself 6 months here before I left for a year or maybe even longer. I decided to make as most of the 6 months as I could, meet as many people as I could, and since I might not see a lot of them again, I decided to hear as many of their stories as I could. I've done a lot while I've been here. I've joined a writing group and helped people write their stories. I've helped bring a few stories to life on film. I've read and seen stories, and I've met people and heard their stories. I heard the story of a Chicagoan moving to Japan to pursue her passion of making violins. I heard the story of a young woman who died at a protest for justice. I heard the story of a young boy who was the savior of an alien planet. That one was just Dune. Did not want to be Dune, but it was a great story. I've seen the story of the city going back to life. I've heard so many in so little time. I really like stories. They mean a lot to me. And I'm sure I'll finish writing my own story soon, the one that I haven't gotten to finish. But for now, I'm taking my time, because I don't know what to end.